That was muted, so they didn't hear that. Oh, oh, yep. Yeah.
Good morning. Good afternoon. What are we on?
Afternoon.
Okay,
yeah,
good. Let's go with
wow.
that. I don't need a sweater.
No,
No.
it's warm over here now.
Yes, we're.
Yeah. Okay, it's Tuesday.
Imagine that.
Right.
Happened again.
It did.
Just
it
like
did.
last week. It happens all the time.
Right.
Once a week.
It's always Tuesday.
It is always Tuesday. So, yeah, it's been crazy weekend.
Definitely.
I sewed a lot.
Yeah, you saw. I was not sewing. I was conflicted. Oh, now I have so many pieces. I couldn't make a decision.
Sarah's sewing room was messy.
It was.
And I have proof. I have a picture on my phone.
I sent her a text with my messy cutting counter because I thought she would appreciate it.
I did. It was lovely.
Yeah, I was trying to do, too many things at the same time. So it was a hot mess over there.
Hi, Mom.
Oh, yeah. So we got a lot of stuff to talk about today.
We do.
Besides the fact that it's Tuesday. So if you've checked your emails, you would have received an email from us if you were in the Kimberbell fill in the blank fit B.
There's lots of Kimberbell things happening
Yes.
right now. So yes.
We've sent lots of emails out with the designs.
Yes.
So they came. We have the kits cut. And it's been evolving the program for us.
If you remember, we told you guys that everything was going to ship super late, and then like right after we said that, they started shipping. So we got all of the embellishments in. We got the embellishment kits cut. So we have the August fill in the blank, and we have the August embellishment kit
ready.
So if you are one of those people who bought the bundle, yours is already set aside for you, and we do have embellishment kits available. If you are just going month to month and you want to pick up one of those, we do have extras available. So those are available anytime now. And we are going to do a live stitch out of that on August 25th at 3 p.m. So in the afternoon, not first thing in the morning. Like, where's the camera? Where's the camera? At 3 in the afternoon. So because we don't have everything to go first at the beginning of the months, and we don't know exactly how the rest of the year is, we are going to go at the end of the month instead of the beginning of the month. Yeah. So for all of you who are in the club,
yeah.
Not that it's a club, but in the club, we'll notify you as soon as we have them available, but we'll be doing those live stitch outs at the end of the month instead of the beginning of the month.
Yep.
And probably in the afternoon instead of in the morning. So a little bit of a shake up, but of course they'll be recorded. So just like always, if that time frame doesn't work for you, you can pop in and check it out at your own time.
Yeah.
So
because the one thing we don't know for sure is if they will consistently be here in time to do the beginning of the month. So we decided that this was probably the easier way for us to do this. We will still notify you, even if it's at the beginning of the month, if that month's project is, if the kit and all of the embellishments and everything are ready, we will send out the email, and there will be no rush to come in and get it because we'll be working towards the end of the month. And hopefully we'll be able to continue that for the remainder of the year and not have to revamp it again. But I'm sure everybody's experienced some shipping issues for something
happening here,
right? At some point in your life during these last few weeks, especially, it feels like it's getting worse.
It does.
We're all doing the best that we can with the
what we have available to us.
We can,
absolutely.
And so that again leads us to more Kimberbell. I feel like we just talk about Kimberbell. We do other things here.
We absolutely do.
We should just be Kimberbell. But Lisa has been sewing like a mad woman. Yes,
absolutely. So I have all of the embroidered blocks stitched for the Candy Corn Quilt Shop. So everything has been stitched out. And I'm in the process of doing the non-embroidered blocks. So the the sewing portions, and then I need to quilt those and then get everything put together. So this lady here is going to be taking vacation before we know it. So
I can't believe it. It's like it was so far away and now it's right here.
It's really not.
No.
So we are going to squeeze in the stitch
whole thing next week.
Not next week, but the week after. But we're going to squeeze in those tips and tricks talks. Tips and tricks talks. That's really hard to say. Before she leaves. So we will put out something that says this. It'll go out to the universe. Yes,
to our people.
To our peeps. We'll let you guys know. But you will be the first to know because I'm going to say it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one, which will be sections 1 and 2 that we're going to talk about. So at the back of the book, when you get it, on page 42 and 43, it breaks down the different pieces into sections and how you sew them together. So we're going to talk about sections 1 and 2 on Tuesday morning, the 31st at 9 a.m. And then on she's doing something. On Wednesday morning, September 1st at 9 a.m., we're going to talk about sections 3 and 4. And then that afternoon at 3 p.m., we're going to talk about sections 5 and 6. So that'll be all of the sections of the quilt. And then Friday morning at 9 a.m., we are going to talk about putting the borders together. So if you've seen that before, it'll be a repeat because those borders are going to go together the same way as the border on the pillow and on the red, white, and bloom quilts. Those will be the same way, but we're going to just cover it just in case we've got some newbies out there. We'll make sure everybody knows how that all works. So that will be, again, the tips and the tricks and how that all works. And then the borders all in 1 week. It'll all be together. And then, of course, those videos will be available so you guys can refer back to them because we do know that the likelihood of you guys being there and all stitched, because you won't have had your kit as long as I have had mine, because I took it home the day that it walked in the door, and then that was Wednesday. So Wednesday night, I stayed up until like midnight cutting, and then I got up on Thursday and I sewed all day Thursday because I wasn't here because it's my day off, and I had all but 2 blocks stitched on Thursday, so I had everything pretty much done in 1 day.
Yeah. So
it was a lot. So
I was Carol asked about her gift certificate, and check your email. It's I reissued it again and sent it to you. So the advantage of having my computer right here is I
how
can
about
fix that, right?
Yeah.
Woohoo. So it should be in your email again. If you can't find it in your email, it is here. So if you're using it in store, great. If not, call us and we can give you the numbers. Yep, you can't find it.
And so for what she was asking, if you guys are reading the comments over there, we had our second welcome home class, which was actually designed by Kimberbell, but it wasn't an actual Kimberbell event. And that was for our top of the line customers. And it was a great class. We had a really good time, and we got to play with all of those really fun features that we don't get to play with all of the time. So, you know, sometimes there's some really cool stuff that we don't get to teach because not everybody has those things. So it was a lot of fun for us to go through all of those things. And we hope you guys had as much fun as we did because we like pushing those buttons. So it was great.
It was lots of fun.
And that was,
it's always fun to get to push each other's buttons, isn't it? Right?
So that is some Kimberbell.
Yeah.
We got more Kimberbell. There's a Kimberbell event going to be here next weekend, the 27th and 28th.
Are we allowed to show the event bonus CD?
Why not?
It's right there. I mean, what are they going to do, right?
We're allowed to do that. They advertise these. So these are little felt friends, and they are really rubber banded well.
They are.
So we're going to whip out
those rubber bands to come out.
No, they did not. So Kimberbell events, they have a bonus CD for any event, and all you got to do to get one is spend money.
Right. It's not hard to spend $100.
So this is the cute little bonus CD, and they are Spooky Felt Friends. So we have a crow, a ghost, and a little haunted house. Here's the back of the CD case if you guys would like to see those. And there are 4x4 and 5x7 hoops. There's also little pumpkins and little bats and a little spider.
The picture on the back, it reminds me doesn't this remind you of like Super Mario Brothers? Like the little ghost that comes out.
And it's like the little dots that you have to follow, the little trail to get your coins and stuff.
Like when you're fighting in the little castle. It's totally what it is.
Yeah. You just dated yourself. Everybody knows what you grew up doing.
Like Super Mario Brothers. Back when yeah, but see, I did it when the remote control only had 2 buttons on it.
In the joystick.
Yeah. Well, no, Mario Brothers never had a joystick.
I was kidding.
But my Atari did.
I was kidding.
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind.
That was Frogger.
That was Frogger and
Space Invaders. And
what was the one with the I'm drawing Pitfall.
Pitfall.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I sucked at Pitfall.
Me too.
I always died. I died
a lot at Frogger too.
I died a lot in I am not a video gamer. I
like to play them, but I'm not. I really don't like to play them now because
my kids enjoyed watching me play video games because I died so often. They just laughed at me trying to jump onto something and I jump up and then I go right back off the other side.
Yeah.
And then I try it from that angle and nope, went right back where I'd start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dave's always like, push A. Which A?
Yeah. we and I've got my little little thingy doohickey in one hand and the doohickey. Because they're not even remotes. Those are doohickeys. It's a Wiimote. See, I sound like I'm 2. I can't say remote. It's a Wiimote. Anyway, back to business. There are a couple spots left for the Kimberbell. Not very many, but there are a couple. If anybody wants to get in on it.
Not this weekend.
It is the 27th or the 28th, Friday and Saturday. They're super cute little. It's called Home Sweet Haunted Home. We're going to build a little haunted house, and we're going to make a tea towel for a dead and breakfast. Instead of bed and breakfast.
Yeah,
it's really cute. A pillow with lace bats on it and some little applique bats and I don't remember what else off the top of my head.
And the truth is, if you
a pillow, a pumpkin,
right? If you have really no desire to spend 2 days with us, you can just get the kit.
You can just buy the kit. I'm not offended.
Right?
If you just want the product, that's okay too.
Yeah, that's the sort of the advantage of the reality that we sit in right now, right? Is if you're antisocial.
So, and previous to all of this, they didn't allow you to do, you that was the only, we weren't supposed to, we were supposed to refund your money and no kit for you. No. But they changed that. So, the whole virtual world is very different. So, it's a little bit less structured. So there's a little more wiggle room.
Virtual world has been good for me because I really am a terrible student. Like you wouldn't want me in your class because I can't follow the instructions. I can't sit still and I have to do my own thing.
She's that student that goes to the back of the room because she's not going to listen to anything the teacher says.
Right. If I really am trying, I sit at the front of the class because
that forces her to pay attention and try to behave.
The last time I went to a class though, twice I sat in the front of the class, I broke the machine. So, it was hysterical.
So do you remember the Kimberbell class you went to and they handed her a stick?
It was hysterical. I was like, you're going
to give me a wood stick and you want me to put that anywhere near this embroidery machine?
And I really love it when they say things to you like, did you thread it correctly?
Yep, me too.
I'm like, no, I didn't thread it correctly at all.
And then,
did you want to try?
And then I go to Kimberbell and I'm like, this is the wrong parts in this machine. Can you please get me the right part?
And
they're just like, who is this chick?
Right. We're bad. It's bad. So
we're terrible students.
We sort of get it. Like we really do.
We get it.
We tell you to be good students, but we're like, yeah, right there. But
understood.
So yeah,
Totally there with
the
you.
virtual world has made it easy because like if you want to participate in something, I could just pretend like I'm going to participate.
And if you don't want to participate, you just be like, no video.
I didn't have internet today.
No video. I'm going to sit over here and play video games.
Right? Text Lisa, look at how much fun I'm having. They are so cute.
This is my favorite block. I think that's ridiculous out of all of these adorable blocks. I just absolutely adore this little dress
They
form.
are so cute.
It's so cute.
Darn cute, Belle.
I stitched more than I was supposed to of these because I thought it was so
Show
cute.
them your the block that you made. Do you have your
My one I created?
Yeah.
Yeah.
While we were busy teaching.
So, there's a lot of stitch time that we're not stitching. So Saturday, and Luis, I'm so glad you had fun, and Carol, you too, and I'm glad you guys enjoyed it, and we enjoyed it too, but there was a lot of downtime on our side. So
yeah, we're waiting.
I want to make this quilt, and this is going to be the first time that I don't just follow the directions and put it on the wall to make it look exactly like the front cover of the book, right? I'm not going to follow the directions all this time. I did for the squares that are like the book. Yeah. But I'm going to make it bigger. So I'm like, I want to make some really cool stuff. So I was like, I want to come up with some really cool gravestones, some tombstones that don't say what, I don't want to just have two of all of theirs. Where's my headstones? Here we go. So here's one. Here lies all my scraps. I just think that's adorable. So I'm like, we need to look up some really like funny, some funny gravestones.
We found some.
So we found some, and I jotted them down. So I have like this list of notes that this is what we were doing while you guys were
giggling about while
and
you
we're
were
giggling, and so we're looking like, oh, that's really cute. I'm gonna ran with scissors, and so we're jotting all this down. Well, we came across one that was a Ouija board, so I created a Ouija board because I'm like, that's just perfect.
It is. It's cute.
I want a Ouija board on my quilt.
And then you put a little sewing machine.
I put a little sewing machine up here. And then this is, you guys, I like my Celtic knots. So I put a little Celtic knot in here. And then these are little Celtic corner pieces that I found in some of my other stuff. So I made a little Ouija board. I gotta restitch it though, because I didn't put enough fabric in there. There's no seam allowance. It ate a lot of fabric. A little bit more than I thought it was gonna. But that was my practice. There's gonna be a little bit more color, I think, in the next one. So
yeah. So sometimes we veer off the beaten path.
I did that, and then I've got a black that's something wicked this way comes that I'm gonna put in, and I've got some other.
It's gonna be really cute.
It's gonna be bigger, but you guys will see it when you come in.
Yeah.
Or maybe we'll hold it up. I'll share. We'll have share and show and tell and show and share, and I'll tell you about it and whatever when I get there. So,
we are going to talk a little bit about computer stuff today. So in the little comment dudes over there, if there's something that you want to know about, like while we're finishing up our little bit of chatting here, make sure that you post your questions there because, we always assume sometimes that we're either showing it too complicated or not complicated enough.
So in fairness, I don't have any problem putting a file on a USB stick and taking that USB stick to my machine. I'm good with that. Have no problem helping one of you guys do that. So Sarah's pretty good at that too. So I guess what I'm saying in as nicest way possible is that what we find easy or hard about computers is not necessarily what you guys are going to find easy or hard about computers. So we might not necessarily know what your questions are going to be.
Right.
So you guys got to ask.
You got to ask. And don't be afraid to ask.
Don't be afraid.
Just type up that little thing there. I promise I won't put them up on the screen. So, but
there really is no such thing as a bad question. No. So we really, we want to help you. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But we can't if you don't tell us what you need help with.
Right.
So we are going to walk you through, we've got a website pulled up. We're going to buy a design, well, sort of, and then we're going to download it. We're going to find you show you where to find it. And then we're going to,
I think we should walk them through our website today too.
We can absolutely do that as well. So we'll show you those kinds of things, because those are the things that we get questions on regularly. So we know you guys need those how-tos, if you will. But if there's something that we're missing, you got to ask. So please do that.
Yes.
So, yes, there's always things that our machines, every once in a while, we even find one. We're like,
how did we not know that?
How come we didn't know that? It was great. The convention, there's a button on the multi-needles I did not know was there. I was like,
how did we miss that?
How did we not know?
I think we're just going to say that it was in the latest update.
That sounds so much better. Let's just say that.
It couldn't have been there the entire time.
It couldn't have been there for a year. We didn't know. Yep, we're totally going to go with that.
Totally.
So let's go ahead and swap screens, and we're going to get started. So the screen that we've got up here is the OESD website. And you guys know we work with OESD. We're going to turn off that scrolling banner so that you can see the whole screen a little bit easier, because sometimes we cover up some important little things. So you guys can hopefully see, I think you can see everything at that point.
Okay.
I think that's
all
fine.
Right. That's good.
So at least our names aren't hiding the bottom of the screen. So it's really important, actually. So, you know, when we're on the phone with you guys and we say, you know, can you find this? It's sometimes you don't know what this is.
Right.
So what I tend to ask you to find the most commonly is the manila folder at the bottom of the screen. And that is your File Explorer button. And that's that little guy that's right down there. And she's just...
I pinned it next to it. I was trying to get it to...
So that's that little guy right there. And so when you have it open, it gets a little bit bigger, as she's got hers there. But what it can do is show you where everything's at on your computer, which is how we're going to be able to help you find something over the phone.
Right.
Because without that, there's no help for us finding anything over the phone.
So when it pops up on your screen here, the bottom tells you that it is your File Explorer. I realize that that's probably pretty small down at the bottom, but it is, it does look like a manila folder sitting in like a file holder.
Yep.
And that's the page that we're looking at. So this page right here, this basically is your whole computer. This is where all of your pieces and your parts are going to be found. And a lot of them, the screen part here, this is kind of just your most recently used things. You can see on my screen there, I have a lot of things from the website.
We've been hard at work.
But along the left-hand side of your screen here, this is where you're going to find your hard drive, your computer. This is where you would find a USB stick. So when I
USB in there, someday it will.
Just didn't make any noise. It's there. So it showed up right down here, and it says USB drive F. And then above that is my C drive. So when I select this, you can see all of the programs and the items and things that are on my computer. And then below that, you can see the different pieces. You can see my PE design dongle. You don't want to save to that. And then my USB stick at the bottom. So what do we tell people about USB sticks?
So these are going to be your transfer item devices. So I want to take something from my computer and take it to, in this case, my embroidery machine. This is not your long-term storage device. This is a temporary storage device. And we know that a lot of you are using these as your permanent storage devices. You always want to take, for instance, all of you who are getting free quilting designs from us for this quilt. When you pick it up, they're going to be on a USB. That's how we're giving them to you. You need to take them off that USB and copy them to your computer. Someday, somewhere, that USB stick is going to die. And if you haven't got another copy of those somewhere else, you're going to lose whatever's on that USB. Right. So this is a temporary storage device. It's a transfer file device. It's not ever intended to be a permanent place to have.
No.
That is what an external hard drive is for, or your internal hard drive is supposed to be for. These are not hard drives.
Right.
That's what a hard drive is for.
So let's start with, before we go and do something that's downloaded, let's start with showing them how easy it is to make a folder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So I'm gonna left click over on the side of my screen here, because I'll make these extra big so you can see these. These are files that are on my computer. And if I want to make a new file, there's lots of different ways to make a new file, but we have left clicks and we have right clicks. If I right click on my mouse, I get a new basically menu that pops up here. And one of those options down the middle says new folder. And as soon as I put that new folder up on my screen here, you get an option to name it, but I clicked off of it too quickly. So I am going to, again, right click on the folder, and I'm going to select the rename option. And you can see that at the bottom of the screen, it's blue. So,
and what does blue mean?
Blue means that I'm ready to rewrite over it. So
you don't have to click.
I don't have to click.
And if you click, what happens?
It saves it.
Or if you click right on top of it, it makes it no longer write overable.
That's correct.
And then you have to use your delete button.
Yes. So I'm going to type in Sarah's folder. All right. So, and then I'm going to hit the enter key, and
boom.
I have now saved this folder. So this is where I want to make sure that I put the designs. So I've got a USB stick in here. So I'm going to select the USB stick. And so I selected it by hitting the left click button. So the left button, I did one click, and then this is what is on my USB stick. So I need to copy it and paste it onto my USB stick. There are lots and lots and lots of different ways to do this. So this may be how you do it. This may not be how you do it. But since we're using our mouse, we're going to put our mouse over top of the block that we want to, the folder that we want to copy. And when it's highlighted, so there's that little blue box that appears around that, I am going to right click one time, and that other dialog box is going to pop up. One of the options midway down is copy. So I'm going to select the copy by one left click. So I have hit the copy button. And now I'm going to go back to my USB stick. So I'm navigating to the left-hand side of my screen, and my USB drive is highlighted by that little blue line. So once I have the USB stick on there, what I want to do is I want to open the USB stick. So I'm right. I don't want to open the same USB stick again. Thank you. So I now want to find where I put Sarah's folder. And so I've got it right up here. And again, I'm highlighting where I want to go. So I'm going to click here. Now, if I click once, it's going to open the folder, but it doesn't really show up any place. But if I double click it, then I'm going to get, oops, don't hit that button. So I have my screen over here, and it tells me that the folder is empty. So anywhere inside here, if I right click, I'm going to get my dialog back again. And one of my options midway down is paste. And you can see what happens. My folder appeared here. So I copied it from my USB stick and I pasted it onto my computer where I put my folder. So the biggest question that people ask is, where did I put my folder?
Where did it go?
Where did it go?
We get that all the time. So yes. I bought this. I think I downloaded it, but I can't find it.
Right.
Where did it go? So we'll cover that in just a minute when we actually go to that website and download something. We'll show you where that shows up.
Exactly.
But when you buy a design that comes on a USB or a CD or something, this is how you want to get it off of that medium, whatever that is, and store it in a safe place so that you have it somewhere permanent. So right onto there, you're going to copy and you're going to paste it into your folder, whether it be Sarah's folder, whether it be embroidery, whatever it is, but a place where you put your embroidery files.
So a double left click opens, and a single right click creates a dialog box. And your dialog box has lots of choices for you of what you want to do. It asks you if you want to open it, if you want to send it someplace, if you want to copy it, if you want to paste it, if you want to delete it. So you
rename it so you know what it actually is. That's instead of PES.
So you have lots of choices of how you open the file, how you select a file, and how you get from place to place. So now that we know where we want to put the design that we're going to download, we're going to go online and we're going to download something. So at the top right here, there's it's kind of, I always call them bread crumbs. So this,
follow the path.
Yes, this path at the top tells me exactly where my folder is. So Sarah's folder is in the C drive on this PC. So if I needed to write that down, I would write that down, and then I would be able to find where I put my folder at. So I'm going to close my file folder here, and we are now online. It's magic. So this is the embroidery online, so the OESD scissor tail website. So this is where you can buy designs, and you can link this directly from our website, and we'll show you that in a minute. But this is Lisa's screen here. So she has signed in, and we have access to her previous design. So there's a folder up at the top here called My Designs. So things that you might purchase from this website, they will be downloaded to your computer, but they also are put into your design area over here.
Yep. So generally when you buy something from any random online account, if you have made an account versus just checked out as a quote unquote guest, you can go back and re-download whatever you have, because they will track whatever you've purchased. Different places have different numbers of times, how many times you can download something. Some places are infinity, so there is no limit. Some places are 2 to 5 times.
Yeah.
And once you've downloaded it twice, you're done. You can't download any more times. So wherever you put it, hopefully you can find it, because you're done. You can't download it again. So you do need to pay attention. Different places have different rules when it comes to downloading their files.
Absolutely.
Which is why it's important that you have a safe place to put them, that not on a USB that could possibly go bad and die at some point. And what does that mean? That means at some point you're going to plug that USB stick either into your computer or your embroidery machine, and it's going to say USB not found, or it's unreadable, or error, or something to that effect, that it won't be able to be fixed. So let's see how we buy a design and how that downloads.
So we're going to pick a free design, because I'm not going to spend Lisa's money.
Credit cards are saved in your computer. I don't know what you're talking about. So whole bunches of different things. Most of these places have some sort of free design, whether it's like one a week or one a month or whatever. But there's usually some out there. There's tons of free designs out there. Quality is questionable.
Right. This one's cute. It says coffee, scrubs, and rubber gloves.
That is actually really cute. Too bad I'm not a nurse.
So if we, and it shows you, the website's really smart. So this is a free design, and it tells us where this particular collection, where this design came from, if I wanted to get more like this. And at the top up here, it tells me all of the different file formats that it comes in. And then I've got details and sewing information down at the bottom. So I'm going to hit add to cart. And then this pops up, and it asks me, how do I want to check out? Even when you have a design that is free, you are always going to need to go through the checkout process. That's just how websites work. They need you to do that. So it'll ask you for your information. I'll cheat and do
That's weird.
Yeah, I thought it was going to go back to PayPal, but it didn't. So,
That's weird. Is there something in there? Oh, there we go. Cool. That's fine. I don't care.
Okay. Continue. And then here it does, it's really smart. It tells me that payment is not required.
And then, so look at that. I bought a design.
Yes. And so it gives you lots of information right here. So it says design download instructions. You can download your digital purchases by clicking here, or you can do that by logging into your account at any time. And there's also a download link into your email. So from this page, we have 3 different ways that we can get our designs. So
that's not confusing at all.
That's not confusing at all. So I'm going to start by clicking here because that's the easiest way
thing. We're already in their website, so let's just go get it right now.
Right. And so this takes us to the page where all of her designs are. So these are the designs that Lisa has purchased
from this site
at any given moment. So
I like lace.
There might be, she might like
lace. I might like lace a little bit.
And so we have the picture, we have the SKU number, we have an order number, and then we have a file format section. So this has a drop down menu. There's a little arrow here, and we can select this. So we can actually just pick the style that we would like. So we would be using PES. You could, of course, pick whatever version you want. So the next thing that I'm going to hit the download process. So this download process is a little bit different depending on like the makeup of your laptop or your desktop, or whether you're using a Mac computer or an iPad. But it is going to download it someplace, and we should be able to find it. So I'm going to hit the download button. And this one comes up to, my computer always goes to the last folder that I was actively working in, which was my work folder. So that isn't the folder that I want to use. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so that you guys can see that a little bit better. So I'm going to go to the left side of my computer here, and it's already on the C drive. And I am going to look for my folder because it was in this PC on this OS, so in my C drive, and then here on the right is my folder. So I am going to double click the folder, and then I have this folder in here. Now I have 2 options. I can just hit save, and then this design will go wherever it is that I have saved it, which happens to be in this folder. Or I could be even more organized and start a new folder that said OESD. So I know that the designs that are purchased are in this particular file format, this particular file in this particular folder. So I will double click that. And then again, I can rename the design, or I can let it stay at its original name. So if I hit the save button, down here on the lower left hand corner of my screen, it is downloading the design. And if I hit the little arrow button over here, it gives me some options. Do I want to open this design? Do I always open files of this type, or do I want to show it in a folder? I like to hit show in folder so I can make sure that I actually put it where I intended to do that. Do you have a preference?
That's generally what I do as well, is show in folder. The thing is, especially with embroidery files, you generally don't want to hit open unless you have software installed in your computer.
Right.
So both Sarah and I do, so it wouldn't be an issue. However, a lot of you don't. So embroidery software is literally digitizing software of some sort that would be installed on your computer. Without that, when you try to open an embroidery file, opening it is something that you can't actually do. Right. And so your computer is going to try to open a file with a different program that is not intended, and it's going to link it up with that type of program, which you do not want to happen. So this is my sincere request to not hit open when you do this, because you're going to end up calling us and saying, I keep trying to open this and it's sending me to Edge or Adobe or somewhere else to try to open these, and they won't work in my machine anymore. And it's because it's turned in all of your PES files into a different type of file, all because you pushed a button.
Yes.
So the best thing is to show it in the folder, which is what you're seeing on screen right now, so that you can see where it's at, so that you can copy and paste it to your USB or whatever it is that you're trying to do. But don't open the file, excuse me, because most likely you don't have the correct software in your computer to do so.
Yes. And you should never really double click any type of file to do a file. That is the old way. That is like pre-Windows 8. Bad things happen.
Bad things absolutely happen when you just double click on things.
Yes.
So you see the picture of the file here. That is because of the stuff that she actually has installed on her computer. Unfortunately, you have a very low chance, depending upon what you have installed on yours, of maybe seeing that. What you would probably see is a file name, but not the picture, unless you have a design database or a viewing software installed on your computer. Mm-hmm. That is the only way that you would physically see that. So fortunately, there's some really cool new stuff that's out that would allow you to see it. But as of right now, it's not out there in the big picture yet. Mm-hmm. It will be out there very soon.
Yes.
But that 90017 doesn't give you a whole lot of information about what that file actually is. So being able to see them is super helpful.
Yes. Very helpful.
Where Sarah's computer is going to the last place that she was at, that is not what a lot of computers do. A lot of computers simply dump it into the downloads folder. So, I'm sorry?
Next, do that. Downloads folder.
Most computers do. So yours is a little bit, you've got a lot of programming in yours that a lot of us don't have, because yours is a gaming computer. You've got some other stuff happening in yours, I think. Did you tell it to do that?
Ironically, I think it has to do with the brand of computer that you have. Because I have 3 other laptops at home that do the same thing. They go to the last folder and they don't go to my downloads.
Every computer I've ever owned goes to my downloads.
Right, but I really think it has to do with like maybe the brand of computer that you're buying and their little breadcrumb of how it works. But she is right. So, and that's why I said at the beginning, like, this is the part that could be different.
Right.
It can also, there are settings that you can also change as to where.
Right. I'm aware that there's a setting that you can set that in so that you're able to say, I want my downloads to go here, so on and so forth. For a lot of people, they have no idea how to do that.
Right.
And so that's kind of whatever the default is what's going to happen. So either the last place that you were working,
right,
or the downloads folder would be one of the 2 most commonly placed pieces.
Yes.
So let's real quick show what that downloads folder is, if you don't mind.
So on the left-hand side of my screen under here, this one puts it under quick access.
You have 2. You've got one. They're the same place that you end up, but it's located. You can get to it in 2 different places.
Yeah. So I've got 2 tabs under here, like Lisa was saying. So I've got quick access, which are things that are commonly used. And then a little bit further down here under this PC, I also have the same folder. They are literally the same folder. It is just showing it in
2 different ways to find it.
So when I open the download folder, you can see on mine, there's not much here because it only is executable files that go here.
And so mine is huge because that's where all of my downloads go. So when I buy something, this would be where it's going to go automatically on mine, because I haven't told it to go anywhere different. And since that's where mine have always gone, I'm good with that. I know where to go find it. And then I copy and paste and move. So in addition to copy and paste, there's also the lovely drag and drop. So do we want to show that real quick? Because that's pretty common as well.
We can. And the only thing that I'm going to say about drag and drop is If you're not very good with your mouse, which I find happens a lot when I teach the beginning classes, people are not so great. You are going to
end up with them in places they don't want
your
them to
drag
be.
and drop is going to end up maybe in a wrong folder. So if you struggle using your mouse and you don't find that it goes in places where you want it to, don't do the drag and drop
the copy
version.
and paste.
Do the copy and paste.
So speaking of mice, get one.
Yes.
If you don't have a mouse, and this is something that you're doing, if you're buying designs online, if you're using a laptop and a computer, and if you're in this for embroidery designs, if you're doing this, you need to be using a mouse.
Yeah, don't
the
use
touch
the
pads
touchpad.
that are on these laptops, they work great for base things, but if you're trying to move things around on your computer, you are going to struggle if you are using a trackpad. It doesn't have to be a super expensive gaming mouse. It doesn't have to be Bluetooth. It doesn't have to be crazy anything. But you need to get a mouse. You will absolutely have much more success in what you are trying to get from point A to point B if you are using a mouse. Much, much more. And for those of you who are using the higher end machines, we are telling you to get a mouse because you're going to have improved success on there. It's the same concept. You are able to select things and move them with better efficiency. It's the same kind of thing.
And there are, like she said, a ton of different
all kinds of different
right,
types.
and they feel different in your hands. And if you do end up getting into software, you might be spending, like, I mean, gosh, when you're sitting there and you can spend hours at a time. So having one that actually
fits comfortably,
fits comfortable in your hand is,
there's the scroll feature. There's, how many buttons are actually on there. There's the trackball. There's the no trackball. There's Bluetooth. There's wireless. There's corded. There's not corded.
So many choices.
What do you want?
Right.
Well, you're going to have to play. I certainly wouldn't recommend your first one being that $150 mouse because it's got all of the buttons. You might hate all of the buttons. Don't start there. Start with something simple and, okay, this is great. I love this, but I wish I had a fill in the blank. Then go look for one with that fill in the blank, whatever, feature. But you have to start somewhere and definitely get some sort of a mouse, because you will improve your copy, paste, drag and drop, whatever feature it is that you're doing. But the right click, even the right click and the left click, trying to find which side of the trackpad, where's the cutoff in there. It can be confusing where it's very obvious because there's actually two separate buttons on the mice.
So drag and drop.
Drag and drop.
Again, left click, right click. So if I want to drag a file someplace, so I am going to, I'm going to left click it. So when I left click it, you can see that it kind of, it's still in the other place, but it is kind of off in limbo. Air. That's right. And then I can scroll up to find the place that I want to put it. The problem is sometimes finding the place that you want to put it. So, I know.
So she's kind of hovering up on the bar at the top, which is what's making it scroll. You can see that picture is hovering over the bar there. That's what is making the lines move. And she is holding the mouse button down, which is what's hanging on to that photograph. If she lets go, wherever that blue box is, which is what's over that folder right there, that's where that photo is going to drop.
Yeah, it's got like a red line on it now. So if I were to let go, it would just
bounce back to wherever the original place is.
And then when I slide over towards this, it tells me a little arrow. It's giving me a little arrow and it says move to photos. So then I just have to take my finger off of the left click button and it will, I always name things the same thing because of the website. So it will say, do you want to replace this in the destination? So this happens a lot with embroidery files. So it's probably a good thing that it came up.
Because there are random numbers and random names.
Right.
There's nothing that prevents one company from naming something ABC123 and another company from naming it ABC123.
Right.
And you might decide you like both of those and you buy it, and then you have two files that are the exact same name, but they're not actually the same thing.
That's right. So you have three options. You can replace the file in the destination. You can skip this file. So if I replace the file, then if the two designs, even though they have the same name, it will take the old one and it will overwrite it with the new version.
Yep.
So that's what the first one is. Replace the file in the destination. Skip this file means, okay, I don't really want to put it in there, so I'm not going to do anything with it.
It'll just put it back where it was to begin with, and it'll act like nothing happened.
Right.
We didn't do anything.
But if I hit the compare info for both files, then I get another menu that says, if you select both versions, the moved file will have a number added to its name. So you can see, and it kind of shows you a description because these are pictures. You can see that both of these pictures are actually different. So if I selected both of these, so files from work, files already in photos, so I selected both of these and I hit continue, then what it did was
it put a number 1 after.
That's right. So
the first one.
It was actually a number. Yeah. So it put like a little number. I'll make that bigger again. Extra large icons.
Right there.
So it was this picture here that I moved, and this picture also had the same number. So it made them with a little parentheses inside. That's an indication that you've got something that has a the same name as when that little parentheses goes over there.
So if you were to copy something, the same kind of thing would happen. It would have the same name, but it would have a parenthesis with a number after it. And that would be your copied picture. So it's the same concept of how it does that. It allows you to have two things with the same name. And it just adds a parenthesis with a number afterwards for the additional copy with that same name.
Mm-hmm. I mean, doesn't everybody have a picture of a used sewing machine and then several versions of a walking foot there?
I have those kinds of things in my computer, so I would assume everybody does. Absolutely.
Oh. So back to the beginning here. So let's try to do a really quick recap of what we talked about, because we did sort of
kind of bounced over
off.
Yep.
So you want to make sure that you keep yourself organized. So the very first thing that you need to do before you get any designs and before you move anything around is you need to figure out where you're going to put it.
Yep.
So don't make your folder later, because a lot of times if you don't put any thought into how you want your designs and everything to be organized, you won't do it. So think about how you want it to be organized and then find a place.
Dumping is not a good way to do
That's right. It makes it so much harder to find it. I don't actually store a lot of stuff actually on the hard drive of my actual computer.
You have an external.
I have an external hard drive, and I actually have two external hard drives, and about every other year I replace one so that they're constantly being used. The bad thing about any computer thing, right, is if you don't use it, they die, and when you do use it, they die.
So they have definitely improved the longevity of the external hard drives, because they now have what's called a solid state drive, which is SSD. So if you are out there looking to purchase a new external drive after our lovely conversation today, that is something that you should look for. And I would highly recommend a solid state over a not solid state. The not solid state are the old ones that actually have the disc in there, and you would hear it. They whirl just like a CD drive does. And you hear it, it whirls as this disc is spinning and it writes to that disc. It's a much less secure piece because there's moving parts in there. And so they don't tend to last as long as a solid state drive. The solid states still can go bad, but they don't tend to go bad as fast. So you have a much more secure place to put your pieces. They're, of course, a little bit more expensive. So, you might get a 1 terabyte traditional hard drive for the price of I'm making up numbers, but for like a 500 gigabyte, in the same price range. So you get less memory for a solid state drive at that same price point, but it's worth getting the solid state drive. So, do a little bit of research before you just go out and buy the first one that you see, because it's definitely going to make a difference. But as she said, don't expect any of those types of things. Just like your computer's not going to last forever, neither are any of those pieces. So it's always a good idea because losing everything that's on one of them is heartbreak, because it's just, especially, photos have been something that a lot of us will store on those. And so if that is your only copy of some of our memories from wherever, that's just, and if that is your only copy of all of your embroidery files from God knows when,
right,
that's a lot of money that you've invested that you will lose. So put them somewhere safe and
yep,
have a backup.
and yeah, I mean, and there are lots of places that you could back up. There's lots of cloud,
Lots of cloud.
things
Absolutely.
like that. So I usually we do have, like, I used to put things in the cloud pretty frequently. But I really just back up to the cloud probably once every couple of months now, because I basically save to a solid state hard drive, and then back up to the cloud every once in a while. So that has been working for a while. Though I did have and that was no fun. I did have a corrupt file in the cloud once.
Oh, I remember that.
And
you were talking about that.
It everything was corrupted from one file, and it, for months we tried to figure out what file it was that was corrupted, and I couldn't. So
No fun.
I was happy to have the majority of the stuff still backed up someplace. So it's kind of like house insurance, right? I mean, it's you have all of this stuff and you try to be as prepared as you possibly can, but sometimes something
unfortunately
happens.
There are things that happen that are out of our control,
right? So you just do the best that you can and work through there. So make a plan.
Yep.
Create your files.
So, whatever you want to have that folder be, wherever you put it. So on your computer and or cloud, external drive. So have those in multiple places. Name it whatever makes sense for you. Embroidery, scan and cut, whatever. Don't dump everything in one place, because then you're searching through so much. At one point I had all of my scan and cut stuff in with my embroidery because it made sense for me to do that. Well, then I got so much scan and cut stuff, it was just like I'm fishing through so many things. I was practically seeing cross-eyed to find anything. So I sorted everything out and separated those out. So whatever it is, it needs to make sense to you.
Yes.
So you don't necessarily have to do it the way we do it. Just make sure that you're doing something and that it makes sense to how your brain thinks.
That's right. Because I will tell you, everybody's filing system is different. And that's okay. It just needs to make sense to you.
By designer, by file type, what done, hearts here and what doesn't matter, just whatever works best for you and how you can then locate things later.
Yes.
So when you download them, you can download them to a specific folder, like your downloads, or you can download them directly into your embroidery or whatever it is based on your computer setup. And then have a backup plan. So wherever you're going to back up to. Copy and paste, drag and drop. She is absolutely right. Copy and paste is much less apt to go in the wrong spot. So whatever one you're comfortable with. And
I mean, and it happens to the best of us. Like I certainly dumped my fair share of things in the wrong place. And
it happens all the time. And you're like, where did that folder go? And you open something else and you're like, why is that in here?
And because there's no undo for that.
There is not an undo. So, it's never fails. It's the one that has like 50 gigabytes of stuff in it that you dump in the wrong place that takes forever to move. So let's take a peek real quick. So we are going to, you typed in Leabu.
Yes.
And this is what pops up in your Google search. So right there at the top.
Hope so.
Gosh, we hope so. Yeah. So here is our standard website. We know it's not super exciting.
And so I just want to point out, this happens to us a lot. Like people at the top of my computer screen here, there is like a big warning sign that says, hey dummy, this website that you're on is not secure. I just want to let you know, there is nothing stored on this part of the website. So there's no reason to have there's
nothing to concern yourself with, because we're not shopping or we're doing anything on this site. This is just information.
Yes.
You're going somewhere completely different when you decide to shop.
And that place is very secure. So on the left-hand side of our screen here, we have the important thing like our class calendar. And then we have our favorite part here. This is the shop with Leabu. So we know that you guys are really enjoying this. But when you click this button here, it's going to take you to this page. And then we do apologize for the multiple clicks, but you do have to click this button here, and that will take you to our website. And
you're literally leaving that original site and coming to this. So
right.
The first site is set up by one company, and this one is set up by a completely different. This one is Shopify, if any of you guys have heard of that. So it is completely secure, and it's two completely separate sites.
Yes. And you can, once you get to this page right here, you can bookmark it. So you can tell your computer to go back to this one if you want. If you log in to this, you will be able to see your history. Oh, now you all know where I live. So you'll be able to
Turnabout is fair play, right?
That's right. You'll be able to see, at least you're all knocking on our doors now. They're going to replay that. So on the left-hand side here, we have all of the different places and pieces and parts and different places that you can actually buy from us. But pre-orders and fill in the blank registration, because we were talking about some of that stuff. So you can see on the bottom. Now I have a special thing at the bottom of mine that says edit collection, and that's because we're
linked into the other part of that for programming purposes.
That's right. So from here, I could go ahead and order my Candy Cane Lane. But what if I don't remember, did I order it? So if you actually created something from our website, if you click on your name, so like up here, my name kind of changes. If I click that, it goes back to my order history. So anything that you're purchasing on our website will be right here. So you can definitely see
what it is that you've purchased and what you changed your mind about.
That's right. That's right. So you can actually see what's there. So when you're on this page here, here is your pre-order. So if I were to click on this, I just want to point this out. So even though you can't really see the drop down menu on here, if you click this, you're going to get extra choices. So if you didn't want to buy the whole bundle and you just wanted to buy the embroidery CD, you would be able to do that. So just click in the middle, and then you have lots of choices on how you want to pay for things. You can add it to your cart. Once you have it in your cart, you can go over here, and you're going to have all kinds of information. So from here, I can hit the checkout button. If I have a coupon, I do not want to do that. If I have a coupon code, when I go to this page, it's really easy for people to miss it because it's on the right-hand side over here. This is where I would go to put my coupon code. And then this over here is a bunch of information. Down here, we have the delivery method. Do I want to ship this to my house? Do I want to pick it up in store? So we do have a pick up in store option for those of you that are local. It is going to be over here, and this is going to be much easier to get to if you have created an account like we talked about earlier. If you have an account and you created one, it's going to save this kind of information for you. But this is a really good way. If we are doing something that is like a pre-order, and you're putting a deposit down, no matter what, if we're going to mail it to you later, always hit the in-store option so that you don't get charged shipping twice. We will refund any overages in the shipping, of course, but this way you don't have to
worry about it.
Right. You don't have to give us money that we're sitting on for a while. You can just hit the pickup part. And then when we send you the final invoices, you can select shipping at that point. So lots of different information, but from here, we could go to our payment here and we could check out. But I hope that helps you guys a little bit. I can go back to my cart and I can add all kinds of more things in here if we want. We have all kinds of things. You can buy cabinets. So, we don't just sell Kimberbell.
Sometimes it feels like it, but there's other stuff available.
That's right. So hopefully that makes it a little bit easier. And like I said, you can always log in to your account here and you can see the things that you have purchased from us.
Yep.
And if they are things that you wanted to download, so we do have some downloadable things on there, you will find that information in that spot as well for you to be able to read
and
downloads.
if it's the files or whatnot that you're getting, there's no shipping or anything. It literally is a non-physical product that there won't be anything, and you would then get the download. It would pop up right after you check out. So
That's
you
right.
would download it immediately after you check out, and you're all good.
And I'm gonna be nice, and I'm gonna remove these from my cart so it doesn't say that
You've left a cart
these
open.
things in my cart.
Yeah, well, because we get notification of that too.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
We know. We're watching you.
It tells us that too. So lots of computer stuff out there. We know some of it can be scary, but if you take it back down to those basics, it's really very straightforward. It doesn't need to be complicated. Just take it one step at a time.
That's right.
And hopefully this will help, and it will be recorded. So, you know, on our days off, you know, try not to invite yourself to dinner because you guys now know where we live, but just kidding. Well, no, I'm not, but, yeah,
You can eat, but you can't ask questions.
right. You're welcome to come, but we're not working.
Oh, goodness.
Right.
Oh, lots of fun.
Lots of fun. So hopefully that helped you guys take some of the scary out of the computer stuff. And
yeah, and there's you know, there's a lot of like beginner computer classes that like the libraries and things like that have, and they're usually not they're if there is a fee, it's
minimal.
It's not,
if there
yeah,
is one.
it's minimal. So I always tell people, you don't know what you don't know. But get yourself into a basic computer class, because if you aren't struggling with left click and right click and file save as and things like that, it will make your embroidering experience that much less frustrating. And it's definitely worth having. And unfortunately, you cannot do all of this on an iPad.
No.
You do need to have a computer, and
you definitely do.
You can have a Mac or a Windows computer if
and
you're
all
just
of those
doing
things,
file save
if you're
as
just
and
doing the
copy
file
and paste.
transfers, it doesn't matter. Absolutely. Unfortunately, if you're getting into the digitizing stuff, then it does make a difference.
Yep.
Because it is a Windows world.
It is.
But if you're just downloading files and putting them on a USB, doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
Not even a little bit.
So
it's just what corner of the screen you're going to click to do it.
That's right. Hopefully we didn't make the confusing part. We didn't make it more confusing.
Hope not. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We will be seeing you quite a bit in the coming weeks, but not until next Tuesday.
Right.
I don't think. At this rate, who knows?
Yeah, next Tuesday. And
next Tuesday.
Oh no, we'll see them tomorrow because not this way, but we do have a class tomorrow. We totally
we
did we wake on that?
We didn't bring that up. So
circular sewing attachment in the morning, scan and cut,
glass etching and craft vinyl in the afternoon, and then repeat on Saturday. So
my video is up if you can't join us in the morning.
Mine will be made this afternoon,
but hers and hers this month will go up.
Mine will be going up because it's a free class.
Because it's a free class.
If you missed it, but the links are on the last newsletter and on our class calendar that we just showed you.
Yep.
So they are there, and there's a $8 kit if you would like it on the website for mine. All right, that's it. You guys have a good one. We will see you next time.
Bye.